Welcome back to the Naval News. Today we're talking about Vostok 2022. This is a Russian Federation war game that they have every 4 years, and they had one that wrapped up just yesterday. So let's see what actually went down. So like I said, this is every 4 years this goes on. So in 2018, the last time they had Vostok, they had over 300,000 personnel involved. Rather large operation demonstrating the capability of Russia on land and at sea. This is a multi-theater war game involving Army, Air, and Sea units. We'll be focusing on the naval units primarily in this talk. This year they announced that only 50,000 personnel would be involved in the exercises this year because of operations happening over in Ukraine and the demands that puts on the personnel side as expected. But they would still have 140 aircraft and 60 vessels involved. Well, when it actually wrapped up and we look back at the data, what we found is we could hardly even find 15,000 total personnel, including the Army and Air side of things, and only 8 vessels, not even 10, a fraction of the 60 that they had announced operating in the Sea of Japan and Sea of Yakutuk. But first, before we continue, a word from our sponsor. This video was sponsored by ExpressVPN. If you're not using a VPN, you're exposing yourself to unwanted data collection and missing out on region-locked content. ExpressVPN is easy to use and will protect you from nefarious websites and your internet service provider from collecting and selling your browsing history online. I use ExpressVPN every day and set it to auto-connect every time I go online. It's a no-click solution you set up once and never have to worry about again. ExpressVPN has thousands of servers in countries around the world that will allow you to appear nearly anywhere. That opens up new media and movies on streaming services like Netflix, who limit where some movies can be watched. Many ISPs will throttle your internet speed. ExpressVPN encrypts all your internet traffic so your internet service provider cannot slow down your streaming speed. ExpressVPN does not store logs, so it's impossible for anyone to find your connection history. Even if subpoenaed or audited, the user logs are not recorded or saved. ExpressVPN offers 24/7 customer support, but you're probably not going to need it because they're the #1 VPN provider as rated by CNET, The Verge, TechRadar, and many more. ExpressVPN is a great deal for our community. You get 3 free months when you use my link in the description to sign up for ExpressVPN. Protect yourself, protect your data, and gain access to region-locked media with ExpressVPN. So let's talk about the countries that participate in Vostok 2022. Russia invited China, and this is something they're doing more and more frequently, trying to integrate their, see how their armies and navies work together. And so this is a big part of improving relationships between those two countries because they share a common enemy, which is pretty much everybody else in the world other than ex-Soviet bloc nations that also participated as observer nations mostly, like Azerbaijan, Algeria, Armenia, and so forth. I have the whole list for you there. Looking at the picture here, this was taken at the end of the operation, the finale, if you will. President Vladimir Putin arrives to observe the conclusion of the war games. And here you can see him speaking with the #1 labeled guy, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. Those two get along pretty well, work together. But on the far side of the table, Chief General Staff of Russia's armed forces is Valery Gerasimov, is on a very short leash with Vladimir Putin. And we don't know how long he's going to keep his position or much of anything else in a professional career unless he changes his ways. He's gone apparently head-to-head against Putin on things that we're not clear on, but probably Ukraine. And those two are having a falling out, if you will. And that's not something you want to do with Vladimir Putin if you work for him. Yeah. So let's talk about the participants on the Navy side. Of course, Russia, China working together. There's 4 Russian corvettes that are leaving Vladivostok to participate in the naval side of this, and Russia is supporting the exercise with their missile instrumentation ship, which is a very interesting vessel that I will probably do a video on sometime because it's really cool. On the China side of things, they had their very capable Type 055 destroyer participate in this, and this, out of all the ships you see here, is clearly far and away the best and most capable one. Coming along with her is the Type 054 Alpha frigate and the Dongping Yu supply ship. So together, these 8 ships will come together as Vostok 2022. On September 1st, the maneuver phase begins, and this is really just an opening ceremony. Happens in the port of Vladivostok. A lot of photo ops happen on both the Army side, the Air, and the Navy side. The People's Liberation Army Northern Theater Command is present here. That's where a lot of the troops are coming from. Also supplying troops, so these are not just observer countries at this point, but boots on the ground are India, Laos, Mongolia, and Syrian troops. And one thing I want to point out is India is really playing both sides of the fence here, and they have always been on the Soviet Union side of the fence back in the Cold War days, but since then, they've been standing with the Russian Federation, giving a wink and a nod over the fence at all the NATO and Western countries that they're trying to make friends with there too. And so we have a quad relationship with India, Japan, Australia, and the United States to help contain the expansionism out of China. But in spite of having that quad relationship, that agreement we have between our countries, they're still participating with Russia and China, the one that we're trying to keep the expansion from, in these war games. I found that surprising when I saw India's name on the list as actually participating with boots on the ground with one of their rifle regiments. This is approximately 2,000 troops, 300 vehicles, and 21 helicopter and aircraft working together. And here's some of the photos taken from those events. Okay, this next day, September 2nd, Sea of Japan. The first ships get underway out of Vladivostok. Gremsky corvette is escorting the Marshal Karlov instrumentation ship. This ship is going to be monitoring all the data links and missile firings, targeting, fire control data is all going to be recorded on the ship so they can dissect it later and evaluate how well they performed. This is a very important ship, the missile instrumentation or rangecraft ship. On September 3rd, the next day, they're moving from Sea of Japan over into the Sea of Okhotsk with their corvette escort. And then out of Vladivostok, we have the remaining 3 Russian ships that are going to participate, and the 3 PLAN ships from China get underway and meet up in the Sea of Japan, where they do begin live fire exercises. The rest of the exercise on the 4th and 5th occurs north of Japan, north of the Kuril Islands in the Sea of Okhotsk, where they do ASW warfare and some live fire exercises as well, including refueling at sea, which is a very important skill for any blue water navy to have, especially with ships that have these limited endurances, like every ship has that's not nuclear. And so they get some practice doing that. And then they go back to Vladivostok the following day, which is where you see Vladimir Putin visiting and observing the conclusion, the finale of these war games. So in the end, what did we see? Well, we saw 6 warships, all corvettes. There was no, frigate or Utiloy or anything that was, implied, working with these people. We had 1 supply ship and 1 missile instrumentation ship go out for about a week and just operate together. And this is what that exercise looks like. These are photos from Damian Simon on Twitter and H.I. Sutton, credit to both those guys, and Japan's Maritime Self-Defense Force took some photos because they were shadowing them the whole time with aircraft and sea assets. And if you boil it down, the naval version or part of the Vostok 2022 is simply 8 ships sailing around, firing off some machine gun rounds and point defense rounds, practicing their ASW maneuvers together with fire control radars and sonars and whatnot, and all that being recorded by a range instrumentation ship for a couple days. Not very impressive whenever you compare it to what we thought we were going to see, or operations like RIMPAC 2022 that involve the United States and our allies, and it's just an incredible show of force at sea. Makes this look pathetic. So I just want to take a quick moment to talk about deception, propaganda, and maneuver. Before these games started, Russia did a port-to-port transfer, uncontested in peacetime, of 14 warships over into the port of Vladivostok, implying that they were getting ready for this big war game. And maybe they were, and that would be even more damning if that's the case. But I believe that maybe this was just a show of force, that a lot of these ships were not capable of sustained deployment at sea for even a week, including that Utiloy, which should be the command ship for this group. Did not even go underway for Vostok 2022. So of the 60 ships announced, the 14 that were getting prepared, we end up only seeing 4 from Russia, and then China had to be brought in with 3 more if you count their supply ship to help round out the fleet. And that just pales in comparison whenever you see the operations that go on everywhere else in the world, including the RIMPAC 2022, Japan's Farce at sea, very highly capable ships, and we all work together, which just amplifies that force. There is nothing in the Pacific Ocean that any single country has that can compare to the power that we project at sea around the globe. So whenever you see stories like this, like look at this large force getting ready to practice combat maneuvers, take it with a grain of salt. A lot of this is just propaganda, or the media just being lied to and then repeating that unknowingly, which is what I believe happened here. This is just a setup or an image Russia's trying to protect, when in reality, they're very weak and not able to sustain even the simplest, smallest ships for a couple days at sea. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great one.